Hello, and thanks in advance for spending a little bit of time with me for a perspective on the digitalization of gambling. My name is Alex Alvarado. I am a candidate for a master's in hospitality administration with casino gaming concentration. I'm cautiously optimistic that I will be walking across the stage later this year. By night, I am the Vice President of Casino Operations for MGM National Harbor in the Washington, D.C. metro area. About 8.5 years ago, my family and I relocated to the area to drive home the development, procurement, staffing, installation, and opening of a $1.5 billion integrated resort. In the time since, MGM National Harbor has become among the highest grossing casinos in the United States. Casino gaming has opened many opportunities for me and countless others, so I'm excited to share some insights with you today. So why is what we're going to discuss so important? Like so many other industries, brick-and-mortar casino operators find themselves at an important crossroad as it relates to online gaming. Though many believe the decision is difficult, I pose that it is not. The era of online gaming is upon us. The only question is what role we will play in this new era. Social media or free-to-play sites have been popping up over the course of the last decade. These sites allow customers to play for free with the chance to win prizes and rewards. In-app purchases are available, including special tokens players can buy, which earn them better prizes, including cash. So in many ways, these environments have replicated the typical casino reinvestment model, where customers can choose to pay and play for the chance at the type of rewards they want to earn and payouts they want to win. The global gross gaming revenue of the social casino segment amounted to $6.2 billion in 2020, according to Statista, with that number expected to increase to $8.3 billion by 2026. Additionally, in 2021, the average in-app purchase of an online casino player averaged $12.28 per transaction, ranking at the top among all measured gaming categories. A quick look at the graph on the right tells a fascinating story about how much more a casino player is willing to pay for their experience than who many of us think about when we typically think about online gaming. So what are the suppliers doing to react? Well, gaming suppliers started to adapt over a decade ago, resulting in a series of chess moves announced over the past few years. Light & Wonder and Aristocrat Technologies announced deals that sold or spun off various parts of their business while acquiring digital assets to focus purely on the development of land-based and online casino games. Just this Thursday, IGT announced a $6.2 billion merger with fintech giant Everi in what will create a larger yet very focused company, as the transaction also results in the spin-off of IGT's legacy lottery business. This move brings together a vast collection of resources widely used in the casino gaming industry. Outside of the obvious gaming development capabilities and existing game hardware that each of these companies bring to the table, the foundational technologies from these two are just as impressive. IGT's Advantage system includes a plethora of solutions, including patron management, their loyalty engine, machine accounting, which tracks all of their slot accounting data, table manager, which is used to account for table games ratings, and cage and table accounting. Meanwhile, Everi brings significant financial technology to the fold, including their network of ATM services, operational tools like jackpot dispensing units, central credit, which we use daily to evaluate casino credit line requests, Veridox, which ensures we are properly identifying patrons, Everi Compliance, which underlies much of our anti-money laundering efforts, and their famous tournament software, which hosts live slot tournaments in an exciting format. Both companies have spent significant time on digital wallet and cashless solutions. Imagine what they can do with all of that financial institutional knowledge as they look to apply it to mobile gaming in an omni-channel experience. Truly, when IGT announced last year that they were exploring traditional alternatives to better position their company, I for one did not see this one coming. But as an IGT customer, I am very excited for the future. Even still, operators find themselves at odds as they contemplate whether to join the online gaming movement or oppose it, often disagreeing with one another. History shows us that those that fail to adapt often seal their fate. Industries of all kinds have arrived at similar decision points, and the narratives are quite clear. Though most of us only wish we could have seen what Jeff Bezos did when he set off to disrupt retail through the introduction of Amazon back in 1994, all of us saw what Blockbuster did. That was to watch their business quite easily taken from their hands, an industry they had a total monopoly on, until a competitor that saw their shortfalls and listened to customers acted on the feedback. Ironically, Netflix, who would ultimately put the nail in Blockbuster's coffin, would offer to partner with Blockbuster and even sell themselves to Blockbuster, only to have the company literally laugh them out of the room, according to Netflix CEO Reed Hastings. Netflix did not ask twice, and Blockbuster went the way of the dinosaur. Of course, there are countless more recent examples in business stories, such as Uber, who recognized the frustration of trying to hail a traditional taxi while their founders traveled abroad, ultimately choosing to simplify access to a network of available cars through a few keystrokes from their app. Or Airbnb, which ironically came to be when its founders struggled to pay their rent and decided to use empty space in their loft as rentable space for conference attendees in San Francisco. There are even entire industry shifts, such as online banking and virtual medicine, which make these services available to people that cannot make it to a physical location for assistance or simply prefer the convenience. I believe the amount of time these companies save us plays a factor in their success, and we'll cover that a little bit later in the presentation. The one that takes the cake for me, though, is Kodak, who ingeniously commissioned research in the late 90s to inform how they should position their company into the future. Unsurprisingly, as we stand here today, the research returned that the future prioritized simplicity and speed through digitalization and online presence. That was the bad news. The good news was that no one was in a better position than Kodak to lead this evolution, and Kodak had a huge head start to do so. In fact, the research suggested they had about a decade to prepare. Famously, however, Kodak did not. And now, several decades later, when you think of photography, no one thinks of Kodak. So what do we do, and how soon do we need to do it? Well, in 2023, U.S. commercial casino gaming generated $66.5 billion in reported revenue, according to the American Gaming Association. That was the third straight revenue record for the U.S. gaming industry, meaning there is no sign of the total market slowing. Online gaming contributed $16.4 billion of that number. That's nearly 25% of the total number, despite the fact that only 7 states currently allow iGaming. In other words, in the 10 years since online gambling has been legalized in the US, it has become the revenue source of 1 in every 4 gaming dollars, with 17% of regular gamblers playing slots online, according to Statista. It is expected that 6 more states will go live sometime in the next 12 months. So what's next? Do we ignore these signs? Do we fight them? Again, I propose that we don't, and instead that we participate in and help shape the future. If we don't do this, it'll be done to us. But what about people? I have 3,000 employees in my operation, and there's been a lot of concern about the ramifications to jobs. Interestingly, in industries like ride-sharing, where the taxi industry was the most threatened, studies show that total employment has actually risen since Uber's inception. Equally interesting, in 2022, Uber partnered with 2 New York City taxi companies so local cab drivers could fill UberX requests. This, of course, was an ingenious response to the amount of job openings many industries and companies, including Uber, continue to see. That said, we have a surplus of job openings in the hospitality industry, and in gaming specifically at the moment. So this may be as opportune a moment to mitigate the concern of job loss as ever. The composition of the workforce was evolving before COVID-19 and has been severely altered because of it. According to the World Economic Forum, the Great Resignation has forever made its mark in history, with millions leaving their jobs in what continues to have a significant impact on the hospitality industry. With them went long-held customer relationships and the hospitality DNA that many of us fondly remember. It will be a monumental feat to restore these relationships and the customer experience. Interestingly, this is yet another way that digitalization can help us, by way of personalizing service for guests online through adaptive experiences, not to mention easier and broader entry points in terms of pricing, by way of lower table game minimums, and the ability to quite literally spin a game or two over the course of minutes versus the normal commitment of hours or days that it takes to engage in a land-based casino offering. None of this is to suggest that brick-and-mortar operators should close their doors. In fact, the early data suggests that online gaming is yet another way that a younger demographic is engaging with our industry, unlocking a long sought-after opportunity. Astute operators will find synergies and adapt their marketing and reinvestment campaigns to capitalize on this new opportunity. Games can ultimately be developed such that a player would have to engage in both land-based and digital platforms to unlock bonus features, as an example, stimulating cross-pollination of dollars and greater wallet share for operators. And this is only the beginning. Creating online slot machines and tables is not the only form of online gaming. There is no limit to what we can do. Let your mind wander and contemplate what we can do with the numerous technologies and growing environmental applications, among them artificial intelligence and the metaverse. Imagine when you are truly belly up to a table game, looking left and right at your peers in avatar or true form, still going against the house, though from the comfort of the best seat in yours. My name is Alex Alvarado. Thank you for your time.